Hey everybody out there, Chris and Mike here, and welcome back to another indie comic book review. And the books we are discussing in this indie review were released on
September 17, 2014.
Really quick, guys, this video is going up a day late, so as always, we're not doing the triple set this weekend. It's been a very busy weekend, very hectic weekend, so look forward to the big two tomorrow morning.
Right.
So we will have this up Monday. This will be going up Monday morning. By Tuesday morning and afternoon, you'll get the big two reviews. Also on Tuesday, don't forget to check out Haul of Toys on zone4podcast.com. Major announcements for the future of Haul of Toys and other things connected to Haul of Toys.
As well as the live show on Comic Frontline.
Yes, the last live show involving 5 years later. And with DC Comics' next review, the end of 5 years later for this year, I will give my full thoughts on that on the DC Comic review. Or I might do a full-fledged
thoughts, maybe also.
Yeah, or I might just do a separate video talking about the 5 years later story arc.
That could work too.
We'll see. Anyway, let's get into the physical copies first. We have 14 digital this week. And, we're starting with this book? Okay,
yeah,
fine.
And we have 5 physical.
5, thank you. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time, issue number 4. Now, the last issue, as always, we get to take the Turtles from the past and throw them way into the future. And Renette, they actually meet up with Renette finally, and she's able to talk with them again because apparently they had time particles all over them, and she wasn't able to talk to them. Loose ends that they're trying to tie in, and it's just not working. But anyway, she tells them that they're sent places for a reason, to learn something. Time is doing this for a reason. And in the future, it turns out, spoiler alert here, all the turtles are dead except for Donatello.
Really?
Shredder won, Krang won in a way, and if you really look closely at this map, Baxter Stockman as the Fly won as well.
Oh, wow.
So apparently the Foot, aka Shredder, has taken over all of North and South America, including Canada. And Krang has all of Europe and Africa, and Baxter Stockman has Australia.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Australia. But anyway, mutants are running rampant. The world is basically in hell, and there is a resistance fighting against Shredder, and the Turtles were a part of that resistance, except 3 of them died, except for Donnie. Donnie basically thought it would be in his best interest to stay out of it, to just stay at the lair, and that's that. We don't know what happened to Splinter. So, before they go back to their time, the Turtles decide, basically the Resistance, the last of their leaders, are being executed. So the Turtles decide, before we go back in time, we're going to save the Resistance and give the future a fighting chance. Somehow this convinces Donnie, the future Donnie, to actually act again. And they end up saving the leaders of the Resistance. They go back in time. We get to see a piece of Shredder towards the end. And now all you get is them wondering what's next. You know, what's to come, basically. And now they're trying to figure out how they're going to prevent that, as Donnie from the future says, possible future from happening. It is a future, not the future. Hopefully, seeing the future, the Turtles are able to change that dark future. I guess we'll have to wait and see. All in all, was this miniseries worth it? I like this issue. I like the last issue.
The artwork kind of changed.
Artwork was good in this book. I like the artwork in this book, and I like the artwork in the last book, and I thought the artwork in the first book was good. The second artist was artwork was horrible. All in all, Turtles in Time was an average read. I would say wait for the trade paperback, wait for it to be discounted. I will say I love Dave Peterson's artwork on the covers. Really nice stuff. However, once again, though, it's like, I don't know. It's a mini series that I leave up to you guys. Whatever you'd like to do with it. Honestly, it does play a factor in the major Turtle arc. It's just not on par with the main series, in my opinion.
Alright then. So we go to Archie Comics of Sonic the Hedgehog of issue 264. This is Control, part 1 of 2, where Sonic finally turns into the Werehog but not until the very end, which is obvious then. So it starts off where, Sonic, fighting off against the robots, and you have Ray and Mighty, who actually make an appearance, which I show artwork here. Artwork's amazing, I have to admit that. And there's this new robot that's going to be playing a huge role that wants to... the robot is one of Dr. Eggman's experiments, or so to say. Like, they're the robot's on his side. You got Moss the Sloth, who is Mighty and Ray's sensei, who teaches them about, how to control their powers and everything. Things get a little bit haywire, where everyone gets electrocuted, and here it is, Sonic turning into the Werehog.
We didn't see that coming.
Yep. And there's a second story that has Anton and Bunny Rabbit, where they're fighting with each other, and all I'm going to say is, though, the ending to this really was amazing. Like, it really... Like it took my breath away when I read the last page. That's all I'm going to say. If you want to find out what it is, definitely read the book to find out. But oh boy, things are going to get very out of control in the next one, where Sonic turning into a Werehog. Robots beware, and you better run. Because if you played Sonic Unleashed the game, like I saw bits and pieces of it, yeah, we don't want to mess with them. Okay, we're now going into Zenescope comic books, Wonderland, issue number 27. And in this book, we still have the White Queen, who is the good one, fighting off against the savages we saw in the, well, from what we heard from last issue in the forest. And the rabbit is just telling them about the savage, what they are. Here's some artwork, which is amazing. And actually, Chris, the rabbit actually talks about how his one of his legs got decapitated because he got encountered with one of the savages in the forest. Mm. And there's this other dialogue where Danny, what was it, Danny? I can't remember what his name was. Like, he goes to this old woman's house with the dog, and if you want to read more about that, you can, because it was based on what happened in the last issue with the house and everything else. So when we go back to the forest, they're just going on their adventure still, and there's a, they have a shovel where they can bury the savage that they killed. But they go into more trouble at the end, where something else is going to happen in the next issue. And that's to be continued next time in the Wonderland comic book. So I'm really liking, I'm really loving Wonderland because of now the White Queen is in it. And believe me, because I hate the Dark Queen, I just hope that they really get her one day and just...
And I actually just did my research. It's been about a month and a half since the latest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The issue number 37 came out in the beginning of August. We're not getting issue number 38 until October 1st, which is this coming Wednesday. I was wondering, because I haven't read the Turtles in a while, so I just checked it out on the internet.
I was wondering that too, in the comic pile.
And yeah, so it's coming out next week, which will be 2 episodes from now. Grimm Fairy Tales vs. Wonderland, issue number 3 of 4, the grand finale being the next issue. This is the penultimate issue. So in this issue, really, it doesn't focus so much on Sela and, oh, I forgot, who's the queen now of Wonderland, Michael? I forgot her name. No. Callie.
Callie, right.
It focuses on one of the Spade minions, and it turns out he was once a king, and we get background on him. He was Prince Ian, and he was born mad, crazy, and he was destined to become the king of his realm. However, the Queen of Spades found him, turned him into one of her minions, and basically cut him off from his highborn powers or anything. Now,
The
the
Dark One.
Dark One restored his highborn powers double fold. So he gave him twice as much power as he had before. As long as he swore to bring madness back to Wonderland in the Dark One's name.
Yeah, that's the Dark One.
So then he shows up and beats the crap out of Sela, basically. And it ends this way.
So now they got immortality and, well, again, just twice the power.
Just twice the power.
Okay.
And it's going to be the final issue, them versus the Prince of Spades, I guess we're going to call him now.
Yeah, it's to be concluded as well.
He beats the crap out of it. He makes Sela easy work, let's put it that way. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they stop him.
Oh, give her a chance.
I definitely am loving this story arc so far. I can't wait to see the next issue.
Wait till Sela gets up, though, because knowing Sela, she's not down and out just yet. All right,
love this cover.
Yeah, and so do I, actually. Grim Tales of Terror, issue number 3. And this is where they talk about stories, and that's the best part about reading Tales of Terror. So, it starts off in a classroom where there was this, what's his name, who was, like one of the professors, he was like really creepy, like he always, asked one of the girls to stay after class where they're like saying, you know, you're not doing bad in class, like you're doing terrible in class, and, there's a way I can fix that, and you know what that way is, so, yeah. So, there's actually a story that leads into where, well, actually, let me show you this page. The artwork's amazing. And there was also the janitor who was attacking girls also, but then there's a little bit of a disturbing page where one of her friends actually saw what happened because of...
and she ended up dead, and there's like a murderer now in the school.
Yeah, so with that, there's just a whole big murder that's going on, like left to right, and I forgot what her name was.
It was a sick twist in the end, though.
Yeah, very sick twisted. I wouldn't have to say much. So, when that scenario happened again with the professor, let's just say he got it really good in the end. Because I didn't like him really that much.
I thought it was a fitting ending, actually.
Yeah. And, yeah. That's to be continued in the next book. So, I did leave
not to be continued as in there's another story. Well, the next issue is its own story.
It's a different story, yeah. But
really good. I love this issue, actually.
I really didn't want to get too much away because I want you guys to really read this.
Highly recommend this issue. Yeah. This issue is one of my favorite issues from Grim Tales of Terror thus far.
Oh, yes. Their stories are just phenomenally amazing.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Alright, that's it for the physicals. Really quickly, we're going into the digitals, and before we start digitals, a honorable mention goes to Peanuts, issue number 21. Like Garfield, Peanuts is a comic book I read each and every month. Really love it. If you're a fan of Charlie Brown, if you're a fan of old-time cartoons, you will love Peanuts. I love reading Peanuts each and every month, as well as Garfield, like I said, so I would definitely recommend it if you're a fan of the franchise. Now we're going to go into the books. Was there one from Boom? Yes, there actually was. Translucid.
Yeah.
Issue number 6 of 6.
Yes, this is the last issue of Translucid. And in this book, like, I gotta tell you the twisted ending when we get to it, though. It starts off where the horse is in the beginning, and he brought, like, the 3 people with him, and then they just died instantly. So the guy who the horse controlling, oh my god, why? Every time I forget his name. The one that was translucid, the hero. But anyway, he goes under a operation thing where he goes through the pass with what we saw in the last issue was Mud turning into a horrific monster and everything, and he's just like finding his way through, and you know, after that, he unveils himself to be the hero, and he calls the horse out and just says, you know, I'm here, so let's just end this. So they encounter with each other and have a big fight scene. Of course, the horse had something up his sleeve after it looked like he was not winning. But in the end, though, it looks like that he's dead, but he really isn't. Because, like I said, it was a simulation. Just a test that he went through. So after he got in control of what he did, and this is where the big thing comes in the end, the horse is now the superhero translucid character himself. So now, not only was he here all this time, the horse now takes over his job. Very, very twisted ending. I really did not expect to see that.
I know that's a twist.
That is very
ending,
twisted,
sure.
but I really would recommend you check out Translucid. It's very twisted in an amazing way, and it's on the recommendation pile.
All right, we're going into Valiant now. We got a lot of Valiant this week. Delinquents, issue number 2. How was it?
The Adventures with the Hobos is what the title of this one is. So it's where... Oh,
I'm just moving on.
Yeah. So they're looking for the map. Like about the treasure and everything else. So as they're trying to find the treasure, they run into one of the hobos who could probably help them with finding it. And they run into someone else in that cool house that they actually live in. And there was actually mention about what this map is and what it entails. But it gives you more detail than the last issue. Because in the last issue you got a little bit of information about it. But this one actually gives you even more information. After we get into more pages in the book. The artwork's great, by the way. No doubt about it. So then afterwards, when that was done and talked about, they're just trying to look for it with all the clues of where it could be. Where... one of them meet up with that guy, that one that shoots lasers. I couldn't actually get his name because he thought that they were on a different side, but they weren't. Like he mistaken them for that. So he actually tells them where they can find the map, and it's really the whole issue is just trying to find the map so that way they can start off on their adventure to find out where this treasure is, from what we saw in the last issue. And that's basically it.
Do they find the map in the end? Or?
Well, actually, no, I forgot this page, actually. They were going on in the zoo, because that's where their first clue is, but they run into tigers, and they're out of the cage, so beware of the tigers. Oh my. No lions and bears either, so just tigers. So yeah.
Alright, we're continuing with Armor Hunters. Armor Hunters Bloodshot. Issue number 3. I believe this is the final, right?
I think it was the final, but in this issue, we see where Bloodshot is, Livewire actually helping Bloodshot with trying to find ways out of there, as well as enemies that are in there, so that way he doesn't, like two heads think better than one. So Livewire just helps him out throughout the whole thing, where he meets up with this really big muscular guy, and it turns out to be an all-out fight with, Bloodshot having the gun, and it turns out bad when he gets to him, but the artwork, I was amazed with the artwork when they had the fight scene. And it actually talks about weeks before of how that big muscular guy was there now, so it kind of makes sense why he's there. And it looked like Bloodshot, after he got knocked out, was dead, but he wasn't. He just had like a vision of some type. And Livewire got back in communications with him, where he's going to do more things, and there's more actually.
We got Armor Hunters, we got Exo Man of War, we have Unity, which we're going to do in a second, and then the Armor Hunters Aftermath in October.
Right. And, yeah, so that's basically the basics of the book.
So let's get into Unity, issue number 11, which is continuing Armor Hunters.
Yep, right here. And it's almost really the same thing. Like, you have Livewire in there, who is in the suit, actually, and she plays more of a role of, helping out with all this destruction, while the director of the place, sits back to see how all this will unfold. So then, this other character, well, you got Ninjak, who appears in this issue, and Ninjak's a really interesting character where he fights with somebody, which is
Gillett.
Yeah,
He's
Gillett.
from the Immortal guy.
Right. And I don't know if they were fighting each other, I think, right? Yeah, it looks like they were fighting each other at first, and then they teamed up together to because of all this stuff that's going on. Because at this point now, you're gonna need lots of people to team up rather than going one-on-one. There's these planes that come in out of nowhere, and they have to stop them before more chaos ensues, and that's really it. It was really pinpointed, like, it more focused on Ninjak's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And Ninjak, like I said, is one of the interesting characters in Unity. So, I just can't wait to see what's going to happen in the aftermath of how all this is going to be like that.
Mm-hmm. Going into Image now, we have Savage Dragon issue 198, two
Yes.
away from 200. That was this issue, Mike. Was it better?
Yeah, this one was actually really much better. It starts off where back in the day where Malcolm with his stepsister is getting introduced to MJ. It was Maxine something. It just goes back there. Then it goes into the future where Maxine gets flowers from this guy who she kind of knows, who's a police officer.
Officer Cho, doesn't that...
What? Officer Cho.
I could swear that's from Chew. Okay, keep going.
Oh, yeah. So, she goes with him, just like on a little walk, and then you get Malcolm who comes in and wants to save the day and wants to try to get back to school before he gets late because he's starting his senior year on his first day and he doesn't want to be late. So he gets there on time after he had to take a shower because he reeked after all that. So you could use a good shower after that. And then as the issue kept going on, there was more of an attack of what was going on in the city, and Malcolm couldn't be there because he was in school. So then Maxine gets an argument with her parents saying, you want me just to be with a Chinese man, and I want to be with whoever I want, so I'm moving out because it's my life, not yours. So she gets angry and leaves, and she also tells Malcolm that she got a new apartment, and he's saying, yeah, that's great, but I'm in the middle of a fight right now, so he he goes there to help out the officers, as well as these crazy things that were underground. There were like millions and millions of them. It was like all over the place. So, yeah, Malcolm's got a lot on his hands, if you get my pun with that. Yeah. Got a lot.
Then you got Vanguard at the end, which I'm sure you didn't read.
Yeah, I didn't really read that because I didn't have time. But if you guys want to take a look at it, you can see what it's about. And yeah.
Okay, we got that one. What is this one? Okay.
Okay.
Rise of the Magi, issue number 4.
Yeah, Rise of the Magi.
Uh-oh,
To be honest,
detect the dropping.
I'm not really liking this book. I tried. I can't like this book. It's just, first of all, there's a strong amount of dialogue.
Yeah.
And it's
That's how I felt about a book
but not
we'll
only
get
that,
into.
it's just using the frog, depending on a frog to help you get through the journey.
So all in all, a drop, basically.
Yeah. No. I tried to like this book. No matter how many times I've read it. It's
Alright,
just
so how about this book? From
that is even
Dynamite.
better. Yeah.
Solar, Man of the Atom, issue number 5.
Yes.
Also known as his daughter's book now.
Yeah, who's Erica. So, this book, it's Erica and Solar on their adventures with doing math, of course, because that's what this book is about with Solar's character. So he tells her, you know, we gotta like work and everything, and she's like saying, no, I'm gonna work. Erica's really being a brat, just like saying, I'm gonna do this alone. I don't need your help. It's just like really just one of these days she's gonna really need him, and you know, so as the book keeps going on, there's like this whole big thing of her trying to learn her powers with using math, even though she doesn't use it. Like she just wants to just go with the plan and just go forward with it as well. The artwork's great, by the way. And there was this one part where she actually wears a different costume. Talk about a total makeover right there. And after that, there was just like everything just turned out to be all over the place. Where they were into a deep space. After that whole thing that happened with the, I believe the portal it was, because that's what it looks like. And Solar was there with her as well. But after the second time, when she got shot, but she was fine after that, that's when things just turned out for the worse, where she was in a deep space, and that's where it's to be continued.
Wow.
So, lots of stuff's going on in that one, and she's got to learn the math or else she's going to get herself killed.
Alright, and give us just 5 seconds and we will conclude with Dynamite, go into Dark Horse, and then finish with IDW. So, 1 second, guys, and we will continue. Okay, we're back, and we are now in The Shadow. Midnight in Moscow, issue number 4 from Dynamite.
Yeah. This comic was 50-50. Surprisingly and shockingly. Like, it was more...
with the artwork.
No, I thought the artwork was pretty good. But it was more of the inner dialogue that was used, but I knew that the Shadow character was talking. And he's just going on this whole crime spree of... Well, not crime spree, like he's going on an investigation to a crime spree is what I meant to say. And I believe he's in Paris because of the Eiffel Tower that I saw, so he's like looking around there with the investigation. And to be honest, like it was just like too like much of a dialogue. Like it was like I knew what it was about with the investigations, but at the end he just goes to this guy who he knows I can help him more, and he's gonna say, you're gonna do everything I say and everything that needs to be done. So he's leaving that guy to be dependent with his investigation. That's basically it for the whole book.
Alright, next we got Buffy Season 10, issue number 7. This was a fun issue. This issue involved everybody moving into the new apartment that they just basically exercised. They're coming to terms with the book. Spike and Xander are now roommates. Buffy and her sister Dawn are back together in their own room. And basically everybody's just getting situated. The book is basically Xander and Spike spending time together. I mean, you got Xander who's still pining over Dawn and thinks about using the book at times to fix her memory because it was screwed up because of magic. And everybody still thinks Spike is pining over Buffy, wishing her and him would get back together. Yeah. So between Xander and Dawn, Spike and Buffy, they just go out and they decide to go have a drink.
I don't understand why they can't just get together.
It's all part of the magic of working.
I understand, but it's like saying, get together.
Anyway, they're at the bar and they get tricked into following these sirens back to their place. Sirens, basically, with the sound of their voice, they can make men do whatever they want. Mm-hmm. So Xander has, what's her name? Anya show up, and she's trying to snap him out of it. Doesn't work. She actually says, look, I'm normally not in the middle of this, but you need to snap out of it. There's something, she didn't know what it was, but then when she noticed about the voice, she's like, yep, they're definitely sirens. So she's trying her hardest to snap Xander out of what's going on because him and Spike are basically going to be killed. Mm. And finally she kind of snaps him out of it long enough for him to stab Spike in the ears, and he can no longer hear the sirens, and basically he goes to town on all of them. Long story short, later on, they're back at the bar. Xander leaves early, not giving away the dialogue with him and Anya at all. We do get to see something with Dawn that definitely upsets him, and you see him holding the book. Not going to spoil that. And then the ending with Spike, again, I'm leaving that completely.
Wow, what's going on?
I'm not going to say anything about the ending with Spike. You're going to have to check it out yourself. It doesn't really pertain with Spike. It has to do with Spike. So I leave that up to you guys. You definitely should be checking this book out. It's a really good book. I'm really enjoying Season 10 so far. Now let's go into IDW. Godzilla Cataclysm, issue number 2. I thought it was an okay issue. I really don't care about the human part. It's been years since the monsters have been around. Apparently one of the grandfathers is the reason why Godzilla's disappeared, and now he thinks Godzilla's back to punish him for things that he tried or attempted to do to him. And the rest of the book was a really nice fight between Godzilla, I don't know who that monster was, and then Mothra shows up.
Mothra, yeah.
And he scares Mothra away. So other than that, the human dialogue and the talking bored the crap out of me. I did like the monster fight, but other than that, that's really about it. It doesn't hold a candle to the other rulers of Earth.
Yeah, because I was looking at that, and I was like saying, "Oh, monster fight," and then when I saw the people dialogue, I said, "Yeah, I'll leave that for you to review." So.
So I didn't get to read this, but I'm interested. Doberman issue number 3. How was it? Oh my
god. Wait, there we go. I'm loving this main character, Frank Doberman. At first, he talks about when that man-beater was in it, and one of the guys, what was it, his boss said that he should go see a shrink. So while he goes in there, first of all, it was funny between him and the shrink. You gotta read that dialogue, because that was funny. So he has a talk with somebody who was with Jasper Kane, and he's like saying, you know, I know that you're doing some with Jasper Kane because he's the guy that killed Hawkins. And he's like saying, you're going to tell me about him and where he is and everything. So he's like saying, look, man, I'm just a street dealer of drugs. I don't know anything else. So he's going to still go on his investigation looking for Jasper Kane for what he did to Frank's buddy Hawkins. So he trains and exercises. So later on, we find out that Jasper Kane has a this foundation that he does of an auction, but it's more of a I think a charity thing. Yeah, like more of a charity of where he owns the place. So both Frank and this guy who tries to be funny but he's not goes with him after the whole thing of what he confessed to the shrink about his life and everything to make him feel a little better. He goes and disguises Frank as Moko, who is a known person that runs everything. And his costume was kind of funny actually, where he's trying to find out about Jasper Kane and more stuff where he can just try to finish what he wants to finish. So he meets up with a woman and does a little bow chicka wow wow in there. I'm not going to give that away. So one of his men, he sees him and knocks him out. So he finds out, yeah, that's the bow chicka wow wow part. So Frank finds out Jasper Kane is doing this thing about dogs, but he wants to know what's with dogs, like what he wants to do with them. So Jasper Kane's like saying, Moko my foot, that is not him. He knows that there's something going on, meaning he knows that it's Frank, or he knows that's really not Moko, but it's not fooling anyone. So oh yeah, the next cover, but I love this issue. Like, I'm waiting for Frank to get that Jasper Kane to wring his neck, what he did to Hawkins, and I just don't like these people who are villains. And I know that good guys aren't supposed to kill villains, but either he should be put to justice behind bars, because something's got to be done. But I loved it. This was good.
Transformers More Than Meets the Eyes, issue number 33. We find out that somebody on the Lost Light is actually a Decepticon spy. As a matter of fact, we find out what happened to this destroyed Lost Light. It's not from the future. Basically, when the Lost Light made its first jump way back in More Than Meets the Eyes, issue number 1, it split into 2 different ships. Both are originals. One landed in one place, which is the ship we followed, and one went another way. Basically, the two possibilities where the ship could have gone.
Right.
The one we've been following is the right possibility. The other one went wrong. Things started going wrong. The Spark Eater, when it finally came out, it ended up killing Rodimus. That's why we saw Rodimus, his, what do you call it? His coffin.
Oh, coffin.
The DJD did happen, but they were tipped off by a spy on the Lost Light, which we, spoiler alert, find out is Chrome Dome. And, of course, Megatron had no idea about that. Apologies for that. I'm not going to say how they had to get off the ship, what was involved, but in the end, basically, it turns out that the other ship was basically erased. Rewind survived and told them all about what happened with the DJD and everything.
I was waiting
And as everybody came back, first of all, you have two Autobots who are now friends again. That was Epilogue 1. Epilogue 2 involved Chrome Dome, and it looks really bad. Anyway, Megatron keeps, what was his name? Ravage. Actually, Ravage, Megatron was talking to Ravage saying, I have to tell them that there's a possible Decepticon on the loose, and Ravage is like, and me? He's like, no, I'm not going to do anything. He's like, don't worry, I'm happy to fly back to Earth on my own. He's like, why don't you stay? And he's like, as my prisoner? He said, no, as my ally. You saw how dark the Decepticons were with the DJD. Do you still want to be a part of that? And it leaves it off. They're left off with that. And then, of course, the Chrome Dome part, I'm leaving that for you guys to read in the last part. But, man, oh, man, things are definitely looking up for more than meets the eyes after all. And I left this for last on purpose because I know you're enjoying it. The Super Secret Wars Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends one-shot. How was it?
Alright, this book was good, and just slow down on the page. Yeah.
I only have the title.
I was just telling you. So, this robot goes to their world, and you know what's getting annoying about the robot? He scans everyone saying, not a challenge, maybe a challenge. So, he goes to the house to look for a challenger. So, there's this robot that's there, and his name is Pixel. And they're showing him around and everything. But the robot that's there is claiming to say that he's Pixel. It goes with this other girl. So, one of the little girls is believing that the purple robot's the real Pixel, where the Pixel was actually hanging out with Blue and what's his name?
Mac?
I think Mac. Yeah, Mac. Right. I don't watch that show that much, so I don't know.
I don't watch the show at all.
But anyway, so yeah, the babysitter's there, but now they're getting, confused of, who's the real Pixel. So they find out that, well, actually, Pixel's actually, telling the robot, you need a friend, and he's like saying, I can be your friend and everything. Like, that really, just to show him, he was like saying, I was on a mission to find a challenge, but you know what? I'll take the friendship instead. That was what really touched me. This one, unlike the last issue of Mojo Joe, is actually Mandark, how he wanted to be put in it. But see, here's the thing now. He now wants to take over the world and be the only one left standing. So it's not Mojo Joe we have to worry about now. Now we got to worry about Mandark. So
I can't wait for the next one shot.
I know.
I'm waiting. Chicken.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the end to see, like, saying, I'm going to take over, no, I'm going to take over, and all the villains are going to clash against each other, which always happens in the Heroes versus Villains book. And whoever's going to be left standing, let's just hope none of the villains and the good guys, well, good guys always win, so. But like you said, Cow and Chicken, can't wait for that. That's going to be good.
With that, that's it for this review, guys. Don't forget to check out Comic Related, Comic Frontline, and Zone4Podcast.com. Together, we are your #1 source for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more for your gaming and more. Check out Frontline Gaming. We are tirelessly giving you guys as many walkthroughs as we can.
With lots of rages, probably.
Oh, yes. The next video should be up soon. It all depends on my videos, getting them up. I'll start editing the Michael's last part of Lost
Levels A, B, C, and D.
Yes. But until then, guys, take care, keep reading, keep collecting, and we'll see you guys really soon in the next review.
Take care, everybody.